How y'all loving this long format? It feels like an actual podcast now. I said I called it a podcast for months before I actually made it one. Manifestation at its finest. But let's get into the story. Aero Electronics joins Hedera Council to advance supply chain solutions. Reading from Hedera's blog, well, quoted. Aero Electronics provides enterprise computing solutions for a wide variety of applications. Company is based in Sentinel, Colorado, and caters to a diverse array of industries such as aerospace and defense, healthcare and medical, industrial sectors, and transportation. Sounds like Tata, Governor Council member for Hedera. At one point, I need to double check that site because I don't think I've seen it there. We were on the way to 33, number 33, but they rebranded, and I realized Aero is now 32, and we already had 32, so that means somebody's gone. Nevertheless, that's what that reminds me of. But Aero is exploring the development of a DLT-based supply chain use case built on Hedera. The initiative will focus on enabling real-time visibility into the movement of goods across complex multi-party supply chains, facilitating automated compliance checks, and enhancing predictive logistics capabilities for global manufacturing and distribution systems. So, unlike when we first began reading into Hedera and their work on the supply chain with companies in the realm of fashion like Mio and Atma, or when it comes to the food traceability side and their work with the Fresh Supply Co., we now have a deeper understanding of what blockchain does specifically for supply chains. All the more reason why I put together that Blockmaster. What we learn is, specifically when it comes to supply chains, blockchains, DLTs like Hedera are best at recording when events happen. And when you're dealing with multiple people on a supply chain, that type of information is the equivalent of a gold bar. Okay. When you're able to record when events happen, where, and what was all in that event, and move that information around efficiently throughout the supply chain process, then you're increasing the entire process. Essentially, workflow. That was the word that I'm looking for. You're increasing the workflow by having that information readily available. And we've also seen how Hedera is being used as a backstop for artificial intelligence. In the relationship that they had with Equity Lab and NVIDIA, if I'm not mistaken, where they're using the verified compute. So wherever a language learning model, which is the tech behind all these AI applications, wherever the LLM gets its information from, Hedera now has the ability to store and catalog those registries. So that way the LLM can get that information faster, only improving the AI software that's using that particular LLM. That's fascinating. Take that same concept and apply it to a supply chain use case where, let's say you need a particular shipment to go out in the dead of night. No physical human is in place. If you had a smart contract that automatically kicks on at a certain time, prints out the packing slip with all of the relevant information, and okay, we're talking a little bit in the future here, but you can attach that sucker to a drone. If we're moving something small here, attach that sucker to a drone, because up the street from Hedera's main headquarters is Walmart and Neuron and other companies building drones that fly themselves. Okay, you can take that information, put it into the drone. Your delivery is done. By the time you're waking up, you got your money, the package has been sent, and everything and everyone is complete. Now I have a completely different understanding of this, and I'm even more excited. Now, to this point, just want to interject here. When I posted this in the community tab, y'all did not take too kindly. What? Nobody? Y'all not rocking with Hedera no more? Nobody rocking with Hedera no more? Has there been too many leadership changes? Is it too little price action? I don't understand. I think the tech is still cool. I like the blue. It's a little bit Honolulu blue, right? Go Lions. Okay, we ready. The Hutchatron has returned. I'm cooking. Y'all cooked. I'm just excuse me. But I was just taken back by the reaction, guys. I think this is a good setup. And then also, Aero themselves, they are going through what is called a 5 years out initiative. This is to explore innovative technologies for innovative solutions. They have an initiative basically to further explore blockchain technologies. So they may just not stop at Hedera. They could keep on going. And either way, that would be a benefit for the space. I'll tell you like this, guys. Even though we may not see fantastical applications yet and insane adoption numbers, you have to remember all of this is only 15 years old. It has been around much longer in theory and in study and in people's white papers. Yes, going back as far back as the 80s and the 70s. But as far as its public iteration, what it looks like today that stemmed the crypto exchanges and the pushback from legacy media and the control from certain corporations and the rise of the social media influencer and the YouTuber and the crypto YouTuber, this era of blockchain is only 15 years old. The networks that the companies are coming to first will be the flag poles for the industry going forward 15, 20, 25, 30 years. That's how you got to look at it. I was really thinking about that last night, man, just how early we are. Very early. Okay? Think of it this way. I was reading, because I'm obsessed with sports broadcasting now, right? And I was just reading the old books where how they described the process 30 some years ago when TV and radio was just getting started, when football here in the United States had just became a thing. You know, the NFL, it took 25 years for the NFL to reach the current form that it is in. And this was even still before they were allowing field goals and you couldn't you couldn't pass it. Okay. Well, there was passing, but none of that drop back, spin around, break a tackle, then send it 45 yards. No, there was none of that. The game was still very much like cramped, not very flexible. But even with that, it took 25 years for the rest of the United States to even respect it as a sport, for the government to give it clearance to operate in multiple states. It took even longer for them to get owners for the teams. We are in that phase for blockchain. And to those who aren't willing to stick around for the dirty stuff, you'll never get clean, my boy. Now, let's continue on here, guys, because Aero does have a real world impact. And y'all know I love me some racing. If you don't know, you do now. They were recently at the Detroit Grand Prix, guys, and Aero, their team is actually run by Tony Kanaan. Now, when I tell you the story about my earliest job at Belle Isle Grand Prix, which is what the Detroit Grand Prix used to be called when it was on the aisle. When it was on the aisle, I worked it, 13 years old. And one of the two people I got to meet was Danica Patrick and Tony Kanaan. And again, now I am seeing these same figures and people and logos and companies popping back up in the field that I'm working in now. What is it? Full circle, right? That's what they call these moments, full circle moments. But I show that because Aero has a real world impact. Along with the IndyCar team, There are boot camps, startups, accelerators helping kids all across the country get into technology. So we're talking about curriculums focused on STEM, things like that. So although the relationships that Aero has now with Hedera may not be publicly facing, it may not be all over the race cars yet. Once the industry itself reaches a level of maturity, companies like Aero can just wait a minute. Oh, I got Hedera. You want some Hedera? That's how I look at this space, man. And that's really what keeps me coming back. So, with that, guys, that's all I got for this show. Of course, if you made it all the way to the end, I need you to do something for me real quick. Drop DHN down in the comments. Not only will that let me know who's really rocking with the boy, but it will address these scam comments. I do not know what's going on. Okay, guys, I have filtered out so many freaking words. I just can't do it no more. I don't know what's happening. All the more reason why I say we are so early. Our industry ain't even getting respect on the platforms that we're making money. We're making these platforms money by what we're talking about. And we can't even get enough respect to get our comments filtered. Same thing happens on Twitter. So in order for us to fix that, y'all, we got to get crazy in the comments. Real people, real words, real stories. Let me hear them. And of course, drop DHN down there. We'll just start there. So with that, y'all know I got to remind you about the educational materials. New Financial System Master Sheet. This is your key piece of research material if you really want to get deep, as well as the DHN 100, top 100 utility-driven blockchain networks, and Blockmaster. Between these two documents, guys, you won't need to go anywhere else, honestly. And on top of that, all of the networks that you'll see in the list of 100, I guarantee you I've already covered on the channel or will be covering on the channel. So I attempted to make the library as cohesive with the content that you see already as possible. So that way it creates that synergy, what they call it. Yeah. So check out these educational materials. And again, ways to support the channel. I am an affiliate with SafePal, but you can see it's the most cost-effective solution on the market when it comes to cold storage of your crypto. And you're going to need an exchange to send that crypto from. I would recommend Uphold. So with that, guys, y'all know what time it is. I want to thank you for rocking with me throughout the entire show. Okay. Like I said, we early, but I promise you soon, your neighbor's going to be asking. And what you going to tell them? If that money is digital, so is the hustle.